A trip to a theme park is supposed to be fun. You put your trust in the park owners and assume all safety measures have been carried out. And if you do your research, accidents on roller coasters and other rides are very rare. Apparently the chance of being injured on an amusement park ride is 1 in 24 million. So the last thing you expect when you go out for a fun day out is to end up seriously injured, or worse still, dead. Now we must warn you, although we won't be showing anything graphic, this video contains real footage of some of the worst theme park accidents to have ever occurred, and is not for the faint-hearted. Before we begin to show you these clips, we just uploaded 2 new documentaries over on Patreon. Robert Rhodes, a monster they called the truck stop killer, due to the fact he converted his truck into a torture chamber, and a documentary on Ricardo Lopez, the crazed man who documented his descent into madness on camera. Head on over to Patreon to check out both of those unfiltered and uncensored documentaries, plus all of our other content over the past 2 years you may have missed. And now, here are 5 theme park accidents that resulted in horrific consequences. Terrifying malfunction in Japan. On March 18, 2016, Universal Studios Japan added a new ride to their theme park called the Flying Dinosaur. The ride is a Jurassic Park-inspired experience flying roller coaster that restrains riders in the prone position. At the time it opened, it was the world's longest flying roller coaster at 3,687 foot, but has since been surpassed by Fly in Germany. The cars can reach speeds of up to 62 miles an hour. Take a look. Looks pretty fun. That was up until May 2018, when mid-ride the roller coaster made an emergency stop, leaving 2 cars with 64 passengers dangling face down. The passengers were left hanging for 2 hours before officials could safely evacuate them. Fortunately, no injuries were reported and everyone was evacuated safely. The park later apologized for the malfunction, saying it was caused by a motor regulating device on the rails. But that must have been a horrific experience for the passengers, and we bet they'll think twice about riding a roller coaster in the future. Extreme World. Extreme World in Lake Dalton, Wisconsin was a little different to conventional theme parks. As well as a sky coaster, it also featured thrill rides, including the bungee jump, ejection seat, and terminal velocity. Terminal Velocity was a single participant ride that saw the riders strapped in a harness and raised 140 feet into the air in a cage, then dropped freefall 100 feet into a net below, landing either butt or back first. Take a look. Woo! Pretty extreme, as well as all the rides at Lake Dalton, and a lot of them depended solely on the correct guidance of the operator, so you basically put your life in their hands. While on July 10, 2010, 12-year-old Tegan Marty persuaded her parents to let her ride Terminal Velocity. She had seen it on a travel show and thought it looked fun. As Tegan stood in line for her turn, her family took photos and her dad prepared to video her jump. Little did they know, in this photo, she was moments from her life changing forever. Tegan's mother was nervous but felt reassured when she recognized the ride operator as the same man who spoke on the show about how safe Terminal Velocity was. As her father started to video Tegan, the unthinkable happened. She suddenly plummeted to the ground. Instead of Tegan dropping from the intended 140 feet into a net 40 feet above the ground, the ride attendant dropped her prematurely at 100 feet, while the net attached by cables to the release platform was still at ground level. Miraculously, Tegan survived the fall and landed on her back, but was left with life-changing injuries. She suffered swelling in her brain, multiple severe fractures of her spine and pelvis, and lacerations to her liver, spleen, and intestines. The ride operator, Charles Carnell, was later charged with first-degree reckless injury, a felony punishable by up to 25 years. He told investigators that he blanked out and never saw the all-clear signal before releasing Tegan. Carnell was later charged with second-degree reckless injury and was ordered to pay $268 in court fees as part of an undisclosed deal. Today, poor Tegan still struggles with her injuries and faces a lifetime of therapy. The Wildcat. Bowles Amusement Park was located in Tulsa's Expo Square, part of the Tulsa State Fairgrounds in Oklahoma. It operated for over 55 years before closing in 2006 and was best known for its large wooden roller coaster called Zingo. However, it wasn't Zingo that was the cause of a tragic accident in 1997. It was another coaster called Wildcat. Wildcat was a steel sit-down single-car roller coaster that, compared to modern-day extreme rides, is fairly tame. Take a look. But on April 20th, 1997, tragedy struck when one of the cars was being pulled to the top, when it suddenly slid back down and collided with another car. A 14-year-old boy who was riding in the front of the car was ejected and hit his head on one of the ride's metal bars. 2 other 14-year-old boys were also injured, as well as a father, 2 of his daughters, and a family friend. The fatality was caused by mechanical failure and was the first in the park's long history. After the accident, the ride was dismantled, but instead of being scrapped, as was normal after a fatality, the ride was relocated to Jolly Roger Amusement Park in Ocean City, Maryland, where it operated under the name Avalanche. Those who now ride Avalanche have no idea of the horrific accident that took place on that ride all those years ago. Action Park, the most dangerous theme park in America. Action Park was an amusement park and water park located in Vermont Township, New Jersey. The park consisted primarily of water-based attractions and originally opened to the public in 1978. In comparison to modern theme parks, this place appeared more of an adventure park. Take a look at what was on offer.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park, where you're the center of the action. It's bigger and better than ever. Something for everyone looking for fun. Get ready for the action.
Catch the action with over 50 rides, shows, and attractions at the world's largest participation park, where you and the rides become one. You're just minutes away.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park.
Just go to Action Park. There's no other park like it.
When it's hot out, this is a great place to spend the day with your family. There are lots of big things for little kids to do. I love Action Park because it's so beautiful.
It's like coming to Broadway. It's wonderful.
Race like a pro. It's great. These are the most amazing rides in the world. I love it here.
There's nothing in the world like Action Park.
However, alarm bells started to ring when it earned nicknames such as Traction Park, Accident Park, Class Action Park, and Friction Park. Through a series of failings, the park had become a death trap. Everything from bruises, cuts, abrasions, concussions, and even death occurred during its nearly 20-year history. Most incidents were the result of poorly designed rides, intoxicated guests and staff, shocking safety records, and underaged, undertrained staff. Even after the first injuries, state regulators did little to address the issues, despite the park's repeated violations on safety. They seemed to build rides not knowing how they would work, and then let the public try them out. It wasn't until 1996 when personal injury lawsuits were so high that the park was forced to close down. 6 people are known to have died directly or indirectly from rides at Action Park. The first was on July 8, 1980, when 19-year-old George Larson Jr. was riding the Alpine slide when his car jumped off the track and his head struck a rock. He was rushed to the hospital but died a few days later. 2 years later, on July 24th, 15-year-old George Lopez drowned in the tidal wave pool. The following month, a 27-year-old man from Long Island got out of his tipped kayak on the Kayak Experience when he stepped on a grate that was either in contact with or too close to a section of live wiring, and he suffered a severe electric shock, which sent him into cardiac arrest. He later died of a shock-induced heart attack. In 1984, a visitor suffered a fatal heart attack believed to have been triggered by the shock of the cold water in the pool beneath the Tarzan swing. The water was unsuitably cold for swimming. The same year, Donald DePass, a 20-year-old from Brooklyn, drowned in the tidal wave pool. Lastly, in July 1987, 18-year-old Gregory Grandchamps also drowned in the tidal wave pool. After the park's closure in 1996, the rides were redeveloped and safety was overhauled, and it reopened and is still operating as Mountain Creek Water Park. Askari Amusement Park in Karachi, Pakistan. In 2018, the newly opened Askari Amusement Park in Karachi, Pakistan unveiled its rotating pendulum ride called Discovery. There are several pendulum-type rides around the world in various theme parks, and I'm sure many of you have been on them before. Take a look. On the 15th of July 2018, the year it opened, the park offered free rides on Discovery as part of a trial when this happened. The accident killed 14-year-old Kashaf Samad and wounded numerous others. Kashaf was on the ride alone when it plunged to the ground, crushing her and other riders underneath. Many remained trapped for some time before they could be rescued. Investigations revealed the swing fell apart after its ball bearings slipped as a result of broken bolts. It was also reported the ride was overloaded. After the accident, the Askari Amusement Park and other parks in Pakistan were closed for safety inspections. It was several months before Askari reopened, on the 13th of February 2019, after a change in management and the adoption of international standards to prevent such an incident from happening again. However, it does make you question why in this day and age these standards were not already in place. So that's it for these 5 real-life theme park horror stories. A reminder that these should not be putting you off enjoying theme parks. Theme parks are incredible fun, and accidents like this are very rare. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week for another video.